Hey everybody, Jason here. So thank you for coming and taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate you. A lot of newcomers here. A lot of people have been with me for a little bit now. This channel is not very old. I just started posting originally like, oh, here's my account, and I had no idea it was going to develop this fast, and there are definitely some people who made that happen and have helped out along the way. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the support. I appreciate all the positivity. It's all awesome. I wanted to take the time today to kind of go over a lot of the questions that I get asked pretty often, and a lot of my answers are out there, but I make so many videos and so many updates. A lot of it's just kind of hidden in some of those. So I want to stick it all in one place and kind of get this overall questions answered. So these are the things I want to go through. Just my basic trading overview, like my style and what I use, what you guys should be thinking about before you get started. I know there's a lot of people that are wanting to make their first trade, and they're asking me a lot of questions like, hey, where is this, where does this need to be, how your journey should go, like what that looks like kind of from a beginning standpoint, and what to expect along the way. Just some questions that I had written down that I get pretty often in the comments, and then we'll go from there. Just if you have questions after this, the best way to contact me. So we'll jump right into it here, my basic trading overview. So these are my 4 primary strategies that I'm using when I'm trading. So put credit spreads, that's my #1 go-to, and it's on Tesla. If you see any of my videos, you'll always see me talking about Tesla. As a matter of fact, if you look at my account, it pretty much mimics, it mimics Tesla as far as its ups and downs, although it's magnified because I do trade spreads pretty often. But that's been my go-to for a while. The real quick why, I'm super bullish on Tesla. It is a very volatile stock, and I have the utmost confidence in the company as a whole. So I am fine. As this strategy relates, one of the things I need to be able to do is roll things out should things go against me, but I have the utmost confidence that it will eventually go up, and not years down the road, but it could take a month or so to recover from a dip. I use poor man's covered calls, which are essentially verticals. Seems to be the name going around. I use leaps, so these are just long dated, in the money calls for stocks that I'm bullish on. And that's also a portion of the poor man's covered call. I use a wheel strategy on some stocks. I have not been doing it so much lately just because most of the things that I plan or I look at to go up quite a bit, I don't want to sell a call on. I don't want them to jump up 30% and then I'm selling them. So most of the stocks that I'm interested in holding are all growth stocks. I think that would be more suited for a dividend stock or low IV environment. And then just equities. So that's I will play those from time to time, and I'll get in and out of just some stock, and that's all that means, just the underlying. And these are a few things that I do, and I do it just for fun. These might as well be gambling as far as I'm concerned. So naked calls and puts, I will make very, very short-term plays, mostly based on the news, or if I'm expecting news to come out, and I'll do day trades on a stock. I'll be in and out of them. And debit spreads. So I know debit spreads are they're reasonably fair return, but the put credit spreads just give me it's a better percentage of return, or basically I can go up, down, sideways, and I can still win, where debit spreads you do need to be in a direction, depending on how they're laid out, but in general. So these 3 I will use maybe 1% or 2% of my account, but it's not at all anything that I recommend or core to my strategy or core to my growth at all. These are literally for fun. So before you get started trading, and when you are here, these are some of the things that you will not find on my channel, or things that I promote, or things that I believe in. I'm not going to tell you ever exactly what to do. I get a lot of questions, hey, exactly like what strike price, what date should I be opening this put credit spread on? I'm not going to be able to answer for that for you. That is part of something that you need to learn, and you're going to ultimately have the decision. I'm not going to have control over your cash, basically. So it's not Wall Street bets. I don't YOLO, except for, you know, that 1% for fun. I don't do the videos on this stock is going to 5x, 10x. I'm frankly pretty sick of them. Or I like a lot of times they'll use in there, this stock could 5x. Well, you know, any stock could 5x or 10x, and I think too many people jump into it, and then they get burned on the downside. They don't put a lot of time into researching the company themselves. No hype, no BS. Just tell you like it is. You guys see my up days and you guys see my down days, particularly like this last week. You'll see it all. All right. You need to know options trading is extremely risky, with the exception of maybe the wheel. That is not very risky. But using spreads, naked calls, naked puts, you can lose 100% of your collateral. You can. So just know, excuse me. So just know that it's really important for you to really digest that. Whatever money that you're putting on the line, if you're putting $10,000 of your hard-earned money, it is possible to lose all $10,000 of it. Absolutely, 100%. You need to be emotionally and psychologically ready for that. The market is fair, so you're always going to be balancing risk with reward. So if you're there's not a cheat code out there. So you can't have a 99% probability of success but also make a 50% return on your money. It's just not going to happen. As soon as you have a 99% probability of winning, you're making 1%. So you're always going to get the other side of that. There are strategies, and putting management into the equation does help. I feel like the strategy I use is kind of a cheat code, but at the end of the day, the market is fair. Everybody, and you also have to realize every dollar you take out is somebody's dollar that's going into the market. So money's just moving around. It's not being generated or created in the market at all. Yeah, there's no perfect plays, and there are plays that you can make that are statistically correct. That doesn't mean that they're always going to work out. So you can play things based on percentages, and also my success does not make me correct. This is super important to me, and I wish I had more time to talk about this specifically. So because somebody bought a stock, let's say they're hyping it up, they buy a stock and it goes up, it doesn't mean they were correct about that company. It just means the price went up. And you need to definitely look at all sides of things. Look at my detractors, look at people that say what I'm doing is stupid, and then you can decide for yourself. This has been successful for me, but just because it's worked does not mean it's the correct thing to do. It doesn't mean it's correct statistically. It doesn't mean maybe I'm not right, you know, if it was back tested, but this is my style. I'm comfortable with it, and it's done very well for me. And before you really get started trading, just really thinking through the emotional and psychological difficulty. No matter where you're at, when you see enough red days, when you see yourself down, when you see yourself coming close to a price where you're in danger of losing quite a bit of money, that is mentally draining. It absolutely is. It gets easier and easier as time goes on. So after you've been through it 3 or 4 times, maybe 10 times, it gets a lot easier to kind of brush it off. But there's at no point where you're going to see your account down 20 grand where you can feel just fantastic about it. Frankly, this week has been a little bit draining for me. I'm still happy with all my positions, but from Tuesday through Thursday, it's been red, red, red days. So it looks like we're seeing some turnaround now, and I'm happy with my positions again. But it's definitely not easy, and when you actually lose, it's even worse. So this is just a little quote that I like from Warren Buffett. Some people are more subject to fear than others. If you can't handle it psychologically, then you really shouldn't own stocks, because you are going to buy and sell them at the wrong time. And this is it couldn't be more correct. Think about when people get FOMO, they see a stock going up and go, oh man, I really want a piece of that. Look at CCIV. Is it too late? Can I buy it? And they buy actually like on the way up. And when do they sell? They're like, I'm going to wait for it to go down, or maybe coming back close to what they bought in. And it's terrible. It's actually how you lose money. Keep in mind, part of that, my success does not make me correct. Everybody this year is a genius. The stock market has been up, 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 unless you bought in January and sold in March. Other than that, this last year has been phenomenal, and you almost had to try to pick stocks that went down. Like, it's just not happening this year. So when you're just getting started, these are kind of the steps along your journey, right? So right now, if you're watching this video, either you already know what you're doing, or you're somewhere in the middle. But if you're just getting started, check out as much as you possibly can. I mean, watch this, check out the stuff that I do, see if it's interesting, see if it resonates with you. Go check out other people, and see what really makes sense. There's a lot of strategies, and there's a lot of strategies that are right. There's some that I disagree with, but you really need to take your time to look around. Don't follow one person that, okay, because I grew my account 1,000% in a month, great. That does not make them right. That doesn't make the strategy correct. Chances are, if they grew it that much, they had a lot at risk. Realize that you do have plentiful resources, so there is a ton. Options trading specifically, they are a little bit difficult to listen to sometimes, I find, but like Tastyworks or Tasty Trade, they have a channel, and they will tell you what to do statistically correct. They go into a lot more analysis than I'm ever going to go into, and a lot more than any other people do, just on options specifically. There's a lot of stuff available out there, but watch it all, and always look at the other side of things. So if you see somebody telling you buy this X stock or trade this, see the people that are the detractors. See people who are bearish on a stock, and listen to both sides and make up your mind for yourself. You're the one that's ultimately in control of your money. You're the one that's going to be making the decision. There's nobody to fall back on. If you do it wrong, you can't blame this guy. You can't blame me. It's all your decision. If you're really for the first time getting started, paper trade. WEBULL has it. Thinkorswim, so TD Ameritrade, they have it where you can play on paper mode, and especially with options, you can kind of simulate things, get used to getting in and out of them. I mean, you can hook yourself up with $1 million play money and see what you can do. And that is such a great resource. I can't suggest this enough. I've seen more and more people actually doing this lately, which makes me super happy. Actually, I've seen very experienced guys doing this lately, and that's just great. This wasn't a thing in the past, right? So, and yeah, and options, because options are just not as simple as they appear. If you take the real basics of a call and a put, they seem on the surface very, very basic, but how and when you apply them, right? So in the beginning, you wouldn't know whether or not you wanted to buy a call when something is going up, when something is going down, or where to put that as far as within strike prices or time. And then as you learn more and more, and you can paper trade to see what the how they react, then you can get a better idea of making decisions. And I've been asked that quite a few times too, is just how do I make these like quick decisions, like, hey, I'm just going to do this and pick this out. Well, it comes just like with time, like any skill does. Whatever your profession is, I'm sure there's things that you can decide like that are second nature and you don't even have to think about. And your profession that I have no idea, no clue about, it'll take me 20 minutes to figure out what the right thing to do is. Start off low risk, play with small money. If you have $10,000, don't use $5,000. Don't use 20% of your account. Like, scale in, learn how it works, get the feeling, get your training wheels going, and learn how it works. Less trades are generally better, so you don't want to try to make 50 trades a week. It's silly, especially in the beginning. And if you have, I don't know how many positions open on that account that I have right now, but it's a long list. And it's like, well, how do you manage all that? Like, for me, those all mean something, but I have been to a point early on where I'd opened up so many things where I honestly couldn't remember why I opened a trade. So you don't want to be there until you really have your mind wrapped around it. You know what everything means. You know what you're going to do with it. You know when this comes up at expiration, you're going to roll it, or whatever you're going to do. Whatever you're going to do with it. Try to be patient. This takes time. This is a brand new skill, so do not expect and do not try to make this work for you in a day, a month, like a week. You're learning all new terminology, and you're learning basically like all new math. Like, this is a whole nother part of math. You're learning stocks. So a lot of people haven't even been exposed to stocks. Like, they know what stocks are, and they have some general idea, but in the beginning, people don't know what earnings are, or what the implications are, or how that would affect things. They don't know what a next dividend would be, or how that would affect a stock price. But there's a lot of little things that you really need to learn. It's even difficult in the beginning just speaking the language, right? All the different terminology people will use, and you'll see thrown out there. And like a cash covered call, or excuse me, it's not a thing. Cash covered put. That's like a very simple thing, and but in the beginning, that probably doesn't mean a whole lot to you. So definitely try to have as much patience as you can. It's difficult, I know, especially when we see other people doing so well. We want to jump right in and get a piece of that, but it's a lot easier once you know what you're doing to jump in. And then you're gonna, off that start, when you're starting small with a small account, small trades, and then you can start increasing the amount of positions you have, and the amount of money that you're trading, just as everything is growing. And your comfort starts to really kick in, so you know what to expect. So you're more prepared for down days, and you know what that means. If you have positions that are going against you, you understand how to manage those and deal with them. Keep continuing to educate yourself. Don't just stop. Don't just, hey, I learned how to buy a call, I'm good to go. Again, our resources are plentiful. There's a million people that have websites, blog posts, YouTube videos. I mean, that's where most of us are learning things these days, YouTube videos, right? So just keep listening. There's always something you're going to be able to pick up on, no matter how skilled you are. In my profession, I've been doing it for over 20 years, and I learn new things every week. So If you think you know it all, that's exactly when we know you probably don't. Ask for help. I mean, people I find are pretty generally friendly and helpful, especially if they know what they're doing. Maybe if they don't, they're not. But if somebody has a clue, they probably would love to help you out. I mean, I don't get to every single question, but I try to get to most of them. And then after you're all good, I swear you feel like you're in the Matrix. You understand how and what to do. Everything kind of just slows down. It's a little bit calmer, and everything is not so, oh my gosh, this took down $5. I need to hurry up and jump and make some move or jump on this. Everything definitely calms down a little bit, and it all becomes easy in the end. But don't expect that to happen, you know, over a short period of time. Once you start making money, please pay yourself. You put in time, you put in your hard-earned dollar to be able to invest, and you will pay for this emotionally and psychologically, I promise. Down days will be difficult as much as you try to emotionally detach yourself, unless you're still trading on an account that's maybe $20 and you just don't care. Other than that, if you do grow your account, it will be difficult at times. And paying yourself could mean taking a withdrawal, stick it in your bank. It's kind of strange seeing $250,000 in a brokerage account compared to in a like a local checking or savings account that you know you could go grab the cash is just somehow mentally a little bit different. Or take it and buy long-term holdings. And long-term holdings just mean stock that you like and that you want to hold. I think that's a fair way of paying yourself. And just take care of it. Just be a good steward of your money. Take care of it. Don't get it, blow it. Oh, looks like market's open. Sorry about that. But yeah, just take care of it. Don't blow it all on YOLO plays or anything like that. It can be enticing. I've done it a few times, and I've definitely had some upside. Would I do it again? No. Would I recommend it to my old self? No. Would I have grown my account as much? No. But it still wasn't, because it worked out again, it was not the correct thing to do. And then once you're making this ton of money, you know, a year or 2 years from now, as you stack it up, you know, let's give back to other people who are going to need help, because you're just going to be plentiful with knowledge at that point. And you know, do something good, give back, give to charity. That's something that's been super important to me, and I'll just always want to continue to do that. It is, you know, like we look at that account, there's nothing I need or I want. I'm not eating with that money, and if I can take some of it and use it to help somebody out, awesome. I'm just happy as can be. It's actually if you have not done it, I'll tell you, it is 10 times more rewarding to give $100-200 to somebody who really needs it. And by really needs it, I mean somebody who's really struggling, not just because they're lazy and they want money, than it is to make a couple $1,000s on a day. It's much better. So go through a few of the questions that I get really often, especially the last, actually it seems like the last week or so. So how far out do I open my put credit spreads? I like to open them in general, and this is generally about 4 to 6 weeks out, and that gives me time to manage it. I have a video on intrinsic and extrinsic value, but what this does, it allows me to have enough extrinsic value to where I can manage that should things go drastically against me. But you will see me do them sooner. If I do them with a shorter time, they'll generally be way out of the money. And sometimes I'll do them longer. Most time when I'm doing them longer, I'll either just want to put some money aside out there, or I've rolled something out quite a ways. But that's, of course, again, in general. How do I choose my strike prices and widths? This is a very complicated question. It depends, because I'm doing it on Tesla mostly. I feel like I am very in tune with the stock price and its reaction to different things. When it was up high, I did feel it was overpriced, and I kept saying it on the way up, like I'm getting uncomfortable, so I was selling them $150 out of the money. But as recently, I would sell them $70 out of the money, and it's just a place that I feel comfortable. So this is, again, part of the decision that you're going to have to make for yourself. I can't tell you what to do on this. As far as the widths, this seems pretty crazy, but sometimes I'm selecting a little bit bigger width because I like where I'm at, and it's easier to manage like $1,000 collateral spread because like because they're available more often. So sometimes you'll see near spreads being $5 difference, and then if I wanted to roll it out quite a ways, the only choice is $10 or $20 sometimes spreads. So sometimes I choose the bigger ones. In general, I'll do a $5 spread, but if it's not that much difference, I'll choose a $10, or if I'm kind of trying to get rid of some of my buying power and I just want to put it somewhere so it's making some money and there's nothing that I really like. For example, like the stock didn't just drop, but I want my money to earn something on it, so I want my $3,000 to make me a couple $100 in the next week. I'll choose wider strikes, and it's just so, okay, I can open up 3 of them, I have $3,000 on my collateral out, and I know it's going to collect me a couple $100. So there's no exact method for that. But generally when I'm opening them live, I'll comment on it, and you can sometimes see me select one and then choose another one just based on the credit received. In general, I like to receive about 20% return on my collateral. When and why do I roll them? So I generally like to roll anywhere between 5 and 12 days till expiration. And why? Because I, again, don't want to greed for the last little bit of money when I know I'm playing a volatile stock that could drop right beforehand and I could potentially lose the collateral. Being 5 or 12 days out minimum means I still have extrinsic value and I still have something to work with if I want to roll them out. And the other time when I do roll them is just if the price is totally going against me and I'm outside my comfort zone, as the strike price relative to the the strike price relative to the underlying stock price. Did I say that right? Strike price relative to the stock price. I do not trade full time. I do have a full-time job. So I'm able to do this in the mornings and kind of just between appointments. So I probably work 50 hours a week or so and still manage to fit this in the between times. My long-term plan is not to work that job, and fortunately, I guess fortunately and unfortunately, I do quite enjoy it. I make a pretty good income off of that as well. So it's just an added level of security, so I can bring that in, and then my trading profit is just like, it's just all cream on top. It's all extra, and I don't have to rely on that for my basic income. I do have some goals, and I've written those out exactly when I'm going to quit, but I don't see that being for maybe another 2 years or so. I started my account with $575, the one that you see. I have, and I do have other platforms. So I have Robinhood, which is, of course, what you'll mostly see. You'll see, actually, you probably will not see. You'll see me use Thinkorswim. I do have a TD Ameritrade account, but I'll do some of that stuff on screen. I have Tastyworks, and I have M1 Finance, which I use for a lot of my long-term stuff. All right, let's see, how far are we into this? Wow, lot longer than I expected. So if you guys have any questions, comments, and you want to reach out to me, there's, the best ways. If you want some kind of interactive back and forth, every Saturday I'm streaming, and I'll usually start between like 1 and 1:30 Pacific Standard Time. It's been 1:30 lately, and that's a good way to make sure your questions are getting answered in a way that makes sense to you. And a lot of the explanations are a lot easier for me to do talking through it or showing something visually than it is to just type something out, because there's a lot of questions, and there are a lot of the same questions, and your questions might help somebody else. If you want to contact me, comments are usually great. I try to get back to as many as I possibly can. I don't get back to them all. Instagram, you can find me on there, Theta Profit. Add me there. You can shoot me a message on that. Again, I do have a full-time job, so I'm not always able to keep right up on things. So I do usually get back within a day or so. Discord, we're starting that. We actually have a Discord server, but we're still in the middle of getting it all set up and figuring out the best way to structure that. So we'll stick the links for all this stuff below. It might not be there initially, but we will get to it. And then just commenting here. So yeah, so I think that's about it. So I just want to thank you guys. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you for all your comments. The comments are fantastic. I love to hear what you guys are doing. I love to see, hear your accounts, what you've tried, like what your plays are. Everything is super cool to hear. The positivity has been absolutely amazing. Special thank you, Stephen Banks, man. Thank you. You're the most supportive guy I think anybody could come across. So I know you're probably going to be the first commenter down here, unless you're serving our country. Like that's the only reason you're not. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. So yeah, if there is anything, of course, reach out to me. Other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day.